I think that in isolation, there would be different ways that you could read Mamdani's engagement with Trump. But when it's situated against him also trying to keep Chi Ossé from running against Hakeem Jeffries, he's now court and endorsed Hakeem Jeffries, who is a murderous Zionist who has accepted almost $2 million from Zionist funding sources. This is after he would apologize for calling the NYPD racist. As a Black man, I've got a serious problem with that. This is after, he's made a series of concessions. He was winning and running away with things. So my concern is that why run to the center when you hold the hammer, when you actually have constituencies behind you and you have run out in front of the pack by being at least a progressive populist, if not an outright leftist. And for me, I just want to be clear. I am rooting for Mamdani. I have mutual acquaintances in the New York City Muslim community that vouch for his personal integrity and character. But I believe that if you want Mamdani to do well, then hold him accountable. And instead, what I see is a lot of stand behavior from the vote blue no matter who crowd that will, instead of like pressing for accountability, like what is the Hakeem Jeffries position? What's the rationale behind this particular approach to Trump? No communication with the base on those things. And instead, what it looks like for all the world is that it looks like another Bernie Sanders AOC style sheepdog operation, which is that somebody emerges with a series of apparently leftist policy position. As they reach a position of authority, the Democratic Party pushes them right. And the last thing that I'll just say on this is that my colleague Dylan Rodriguez at UC Riverside, he put it, I think, best. He said the Democrat Party is the most effective counterinsurgency organization ever to emerge in modern history.
Yeah.
So when I see people that are moving in that way, especially when they're people that I have other reasons to root for, then I'm gonna hold their feet to the flames.
Right.
And I think transparency in that sense is key here, in particular when it comes to the things like Hakeem Jeffries and the it was part of the endorsement vote for Chi, for example, like that DSA did.
And by the way, just so people know, Chi Ossé was going to primary Hakeem Jeffries, right? And he sought the endorsement of DSA. Although from what I've heard, he hasn't been in DSA very long, or he doesn't have that much. You can clarify, but that's something I would love to hear about. So basically, to summarize, Mamdani will not back Chi Ossé's challenge of Hakeem Jeffries, House Speaker Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah, and I mean the vote was very split in DSA, and I can't really talk about the the process in between because we're sort of sworn to secrecy on that. But the question is still out on whether it was
white smoke coming out of the
exactly. It's just like that. It's just like the Pope. But it was not a settled thing, and it is not a settled thing. I mean, it was very close to half of the DSA membership was in favor, and then a little bit more than half was not. And so, and all for different reasons. I've heard all sorts of different reasons. Yes, the amount of time that she has spent in DSA is limited, and he's been around for a while now. Crown Heights Senate Union is within his district, and so we've worked with Chi quite a bit since he was elected, and also tends towards the YIMBY sort of standard, and so like that's something that we'd like to see different. But again, we hold him accountable. Like we're very clear with Chi, and he's the kind of person that we have been able to move on different things. And so I mean, I think especially when it comes to Jeffries, because Jeffries is incredibly popular in certain parts of our district, or like I'm the neighboring congressional district, but there's just a lot of people, and primarily in the public housing areas, in the areas with a lot of rent stabilized tenants, primarily where you have working class Black and brown folks. That's where Hakeem is popular, and so it makes a very difficult messaging sort of thing for a campaign, because we know what Hakeem is and like what he represents, who he works for, but it's hard to tell, like, the aunties and grandmas on the block that's what, like, we had that issue with Andrew Cuomo too. Like that was a thing that we had to like fight against. They're very entrenched. The Democratic Party is very entrenched in these neighborhoods. They've done decades and decades of work. The political clubs have been very are very influential here. So yeah, I mean, I think that it's important for those things to be voiced. I want people to be talking about, I love the footsies with the fascist comment, because just it's an interesting visual, but but those things need to be said. And we generally tenants we tend to be the ones to say it, because we don't really have we don't really have anything to lose in these situations. We're not in a situation generally where we're political darlings, or that where people are actually paying much attention to us. So we do say pretty much whatever we want. So I think that you'll see a lot more of that. I think also people are very, we're still dealing with Eric Adams. Like I'm working on an Airbnb campaign right now to try to stop Airbnb from taking over tons and tons of tens of thousands of units of housing in New York, and so we're still in the middle of crisis and hoping to move into not crisis with Zohran's policies and and a rent freeze and everything else that he has promised. But I think that the more I hear, the more I'm realizing that we're going to be we have our job cut out for us. So we're going to have to do a lot of work no matter what.
Right.
And we want him to win. We want him to succeed. You know what I mean? And he is he's a lovely man. He's a very nice guy. Has always been incredibly, I wouldn't say radical, but he's the person that you get arrested with. He's the person that puts his body on the line. He's that guy. So, I'm hoping that that we're able to remind him of that and keep him accountable to us and not to the people who are trying to woo him away right now. So
I actually believe that Zohran believes in what he says that he believes in. I just don't believe that you can actually execute any of those things inside a corporate-owned capitalist party, because the money inside the party broke Bernie. And the money inside the party broke AOC. And I fear that the money inside the party is already bending Zohran.
I mean, I did have my suspicions when I had him on before he was running for mayor, and it didn't bode well that he didn't come back on the show during this campaign. I'm just saying,
Yeah, that's definitely a bad sign.
I saw the writing on the wall.
It's
Yeah.
red flag, Katie.